Hey guys, and welcome back to PXH, also known as PureXHeart. Chris here, as usual, this time again, as always, most of the time, most likely. But yes, this time back with another album review, as you guys just clicked onto this video. Yeah, without honestly further ado, you guys check out the podcast, and also don't forget to hit that like button, and also comment down below what you guys thought about this album, and also subscribe and hit that notify bell so you guys can be notified for whenever I do post usually a review or usually something else. We don't know. Might be something else different. I don't really know. Life is strange. But again, without further ado, let's obviously get into it. Interrobang is the 12th studio album, that's right, 12th studio album from the alternative rock / Christian rock band, otherwise obviously known as Switchfoot. They're also from San Diego, and if you guys don't know who Switchfoot is, then have you guys been under a rock? What are you guys doing? Go listen to Switchfoot. They got 12 albums. It's pretty enough. But no, Interrobang, like I said, is the 12th studio album. Switchfoot started in 1996. So, they're about as old as I am. The band is about as old as I am. Oh my gosh. The band's old. But the band was formed in 1996 by John Foreman, Tim Foreman, and Chad Butler. And today, right now, they consist of John Foreman, Tim Foreman, Chad Butler, and also Jermaine Fontamilis and Drew Shirley. And I don't know if that's been updated, but if it is still them, then cool. If it's not, well then they need to update some of their stuff. This album has been a very, very anticipated one, not just for PXH, but also for anybody. It was just like, hey, there's a new Switchfoot album. Cool. Let's go listen to it. And not gonna lie, their past few albums have just not been my kind of cup of tea. Native Tongue was awful. Where the Light Shines Through was just too slow for me, but it wasn't bad. It was just way too slow. Fading West was a good one in some aspects. I haven't really listened to that much of Fading West. But not gonna lie, like really the last one I really listened to was Vice Versus and Hello Hurricane. Really Vice Versus. I liked Vice Versus. I enjoyed the very heavy rock type of tempo that they've been able to do. But I've grown up with Switchfoot, Legend of Chin, and New Way to Be Human have been really obviously part of my childhood, and also Beautiful Letdown, and also Learning to Breathe was one of my childhoods. So those first 4 albums were really kind of I actually really enjoyed Switchfoot. That's where my opinion, the peak of kind of Switchfoot is, and also Vice Versus. I enjoy that Vice Versus Hello Hurricane era. So you know, maybe Interrobang got me into a little bit liking it a little bit more. And not gonna lie, with Interrobang, it is better than their previous 2 albums, like I said, with Native Tongues and Where the Light Shines Through. Music-wise, that's just for me. Whereas Interrobang sounds more like their previous old albums. It has a lot of vibes to New Way to Be Human and Legend of Chin. You get songs just like Fluorescent, If I Were You, The Hard Way, and Electricity, and even Lost Cause to old Switchfoot albums. I really enjoy that personally, just because it has like a type of grunge, just their own type of flair, whereas Native Tongues sounded so much like Imagine Dragons, and it did not sound like Switchfoot. Whereas personally, I don't like that. I don't like when other artists try to sound like, you know, different artists. It just doesn't work like that most of the time. Now, if they're able to put their little flair on there, then that's okay. But Native Tongues, in my opinion, just felt like more of a copycat of like an Imagine Dragons type of thing, which is there. Switchfoot, for a lot of you guys that don't know, they don't try to label themselves as Christians. I've talked about this like multiple times. If you are a worship band, then obviously be what that is, okay? Be the worship band, okay? If you're just a regular band, then you can, just experiment in different areas, okay? If you're a band that just so happens to be a Christian, then go ahead and explore that ideas, okay? That's what a lot of bands do. And, sometimes a lot of bands get pressure onto different people, reviewers, or, audiences, or just, people in general. And it's just like, well, are they a Christian or are they not? Because they're touring on with this awful person. Well, guess what? We're all awful people, so get over yourself. So, Interrobang, because you guys really care about this album, and we want me to talk about this album rather than all this other stuff. But it's actually really important to talk about that, just because with Interrobang, it deals with a lot of what is going on with this world, with the pandemic, and also with politics. And the pandemic, talking about that is fine. I just kind of a little bit over it. Yes, we know that's a big, huge thing that just so happened and that is still going on. That's right. It is still going on. And, the fact that, we just keep on talking about this is just like, all right, I want this to be an escape from reality. Now, sometimes I want music to be an escape from reality. Sometimes I'm just like, meh, whatever, okay. Sometimes I want it to, reflect and be able to reflect on that type of stuff. But, talking about the pandemic is fine in some aspects. One thing I'm not a huge fan of, though, is talking about politics. I'm not a huge political person. I don't like really talking about politics on here. Yes, I know I'm a Christian, so we're like, well, we all Christian, but yes, but I don't talk about politics, so what's your deal, man? It's something I just try not to get into. This is also from me on a personal aspect. I don't like doing politics and all that type of stuff. So, some of the songs on here that I was just like, all right, I don't like political shit, or, talking about politics and all that type of stuff. So, Switchfoot likes talking about that within some of the songs. That's fine, okay? I'm just saying from a personal aspect, those weren't my favorite type of songs. Even if they were actually really good songs. Like, for example, If I Were You is a political song, but I really enjoy it just because I could find a different meaning behind the politicalness, okay? So, I could, really reflect it onto myself and be like, okay, cool, so how should I then react? Now, some songs can be directly, this is the way that they're supposed to be. If you can interpret it in a different way, then that's the way I try to do, unless the song is really saying, no, this, no way. I'm just like, you do you, song. But speaking of If I Were You, in the music video, and I talked about this a little bit earlier with, whenever I grew up with The Legend of Chin, in the music video, Willis Chin of If I Were You, Willis Chin makes his return. I enjoy that. It's just like, there you are. That's so cool. I really enjoy that. Willis Chin is like, if you guys don't know, Switchfoot's longtime friend. He was also the Legend of Chin. Kind of right there. So he's a good friend of Switchfoot. So it's nice for all that to happen right there. Like, some of my favorite songs off this album is Fluorescent. It's literally, the song is about a fly that's in love with a light. It's just really, really cool. I like it musically. It's one of those songs that kind of just stood out to me because, getting into it was just kind of, nah. And then Fluorescent kicked on. I was like, I like this. I like this musically. I like this lyrically. If I Were You then kicked it up. It had a very nice bass centered. So if you guys are looking for a good bass song, then this one has like a really, really loud bass. And I loved it. And the last song, Electricity, was definitely one of my favorite Switchfoot songs. It was weird. It was kind of cool. It was Beatle-esque. I've heard Beatle-esque on just different people type of vibe. I enjoy it. It's just stuck inside, watching TV, we should just be outside and all that type of stuff. We should have a good. It was a good way to honestly end this album. I just really like the ending. It's just a really good song. I can't really explain of why I think it's a good song. It's just listen to it. It's just like, this is actually a really good song. I don't even know what it is about it. But literally with Interrobang, it's kind of a little bit back to Switchfoot nostalgic, right? So right before I give this review, I'm going to say this one thing. Okay, guys? So with Interrobang, it's like a nostalgic trip, which is kind of what they're kind of asking within this album. Is kind of a, more of like pondering questions. They went to a more of a nostalgic type of way for their music. And it's a hit or miss. So for some of these songs, so honestly, that's why Interrobang, maybe just add a few songs to your playlist. This album isn't bad, but it's necessarily kind of a disappointment in my opinion. There's some good songs on here, like I was saying, with Fluorescent, If I Were You, and Electricity. 3 really good songs. Some of these songs are just hit and miss sometimes. Some listens, they're really good. Some other listens, they're really not good. But those 3 songs were the 3 that kind of really stood out to me while I was doing all my listens throughs. And looking at some of the lyrics, I really enjoyed it. With Switchfoot, you're not going to really get a bad lyrics-wise. You're going to get a lot of thought-provoking questions, which is kind of what Interrobang is asking. It kind of, music-wise, has a nostalgic trip back to old Switchfoot, which I kind of like. And, it's more of a back into the groove. I just hope that with some of these things, it just gets a little bit better. I don't, not really a huge fan about politics, but I was able to see with some of these songs just a different avenue just to look at some of these songs. Talking about the pandemic, it's the pandemic. It's going to do what it's going to do. So it's the way that, a lot of music has just been happening just with life. So that's why I give it the review that's great. Obviously, if nothing else, then you guys hit down that like button and also comment down below what you guys thought about this album, whether you disagreed or whether you agreed with me. Either way, just comment down below, let me know what you guys think, and also what you guys want me to review, either something I missed or something that you guys like. Hey, review this album, potentially, maybe. Preferably as Christian, though, or react to this song, or whatever, whatever you guys want me to do or talk about. I don't really know. Put it down into those comments. And also check out the podcast. The link of that will be in the description down below. As you guys just saw a little bit of a little advert, as always, within these videos ever since we launched the PureXHeart Podcast. I really enjoy it. It's a very, very enjoyable podcast. Me and my co-host Jesse have a really good time with it, even though sometimes we're just like, subscribe also to this channel. Hit that notify bell. Also, it really helps out this channel, as always. And, of course, as we end things most of the time, usually, at least lately, is to go off Jesus and change the culture. Boom. Bye.